Is this thing on? Hello, everybody. All the 40, 30 people who are here at the start, heart spam in the chat, please. Hello. Heart spam, that's what you say, right? Come on. Because there's a few of us right now. So we were the original ones. The ones who got here first. Heart spam for Sanguinary Guard, William Begley, Datsun Des, Imperiex. Is the sound good? Is the audio good? I think we're good. You see, one of the secrets, heart spams. Thank you, Vanguard Wargaming. Thank you, Imperiex. Thank you, Dickie. You have Sanguinary Guard. See, I know you were the perfect mod. You jump in here at the very start. Look at that, a practical orgy of images coming off of Datsun Des and Joe PT and Alice Carver, who is also a channel member. Thank you for being channel members. Thank you for being some of the few people here at the start. Because one of the things you need to learn if you're a struggling up-and-coming YouTuber is consistency. You need to do these things consistently on a Monday. You need to keep up with your community. You don't want to have massive months apart when you're just not around. Because then you start up your stream and you got 50 viewers. So massive heart spam in the chat from me to you for being those who don't give a damn about consistency, a bit like myself. You're touching my own heart. Richard Tucker, Nigel Crockford, new guard codex looks interesting. Yes, it does. Didn't they miss a trick there? Do you think? Here's a thought. Here's a feedback on the new guard codex. They've redone a load of sculpts, right? So there's a new tank, there's new infantry, there's new artillery things, there's new horses, but here's the thing, here's the trick. That's all new tooling to upgrade stuff that we've already seen or potentially that they could keep on top of. Instead of a big tank and those little, wouldn't it be great if you had guard, instead of guard tanks, we've got scout walkers, we've got armored walkers. How about a three-legged walker? How about a mini turret with 4 guardsmen hanging off of the sides of it? A new sculpt instead of that new tank. You've got those charging horsey things. How about some you've got bullgrins, you've got ogrins, but let's get some bullgrins that are really up armored, that have got a couple of shotguns that just go wailing in there. Let's have some new ogrin models. The point is, I like all the new stuff from the guard codex, but they had a missed opportunity there, creating new sculpts from scratch. They had a missed opportunity there of giving us something completely brand new, which would be cool. Some kind of up-meched Scout Walker, Imperial Walker, some kind of, instead of just another tank, something different. Instead of just cavalry, why not? There is no reason why they couldn't just have introduced a bunch of ATV bike riding dudes into the Imperial Guard. There's no reason why they couldn't have done that. They've got it in, what's that other game they have? The Genestealer cults have it, so why haven't the Guard, some guard regiments, billions, trillions of guardsmen out there? Why can't some of them have access to that? Missed opportunity for brand new ideas, which is, so I give it really high plaudits in some areas in the guard codex, but there's a little part of my creative brain, and we're all creative people here, and we all like seeing new things and painting new things and playing with new toys. It felt a bit MCU Phase 4. So, Nigel, yes, chocolate biscuits, the ones, where's the Horus slew the Emperor? Definitely, give me Yarrick or give me, oh, Dickie, thank you for the first donation of the evening. No comment, just a thank you for that. Alice Carver says you'll now have to kit bash the 3-legged walker. Yeah, you've got those scout walkers, right? They've all got 2 legs, those new walkers. Put a 3rd leg on there. Make it look cool. Mount the big gun on the top. And then Adrian Milai Samvarescu, thank you for your big donation. Really appreciate you. We were there when Winter slew the YouTube gods. Views for the view god. I was there the day Horus slew the Emperor. First line in the Horus heresy. Wouldn't it be great if Dan Abnett finishes off or starts he started the very first book in the Horus heresy. I was there the day that Horus slew the emperor. Wouldn't it be epic if he starts the last book, which is coming out soon, February? I don't know when. With I was there the day the emperor slew Horus. Boom. Beautiful. Someone looking back. Anyway, consistency, that's what we were talking about. Thank you for the people who have joined us. Thank you for jumping in. I did put thinking forward, so I don't know if we've got any of the stay on target team in his house. If you have, hands in the air, please. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, corn for the cornflake, sanguinary guard. Yes, we're looking forward to Angron. We're looking forward to the new corn juggernaut model, the eightfold sorcerer dude model, not sorcerer because it's magic. They don't like that sort of thing. We're looking forward to those things. We're looking forward to arcs of Omen, and the new Vashtor law is awesome. I don't know how much you guys are aware of the Vashtor law, the new chaos demon vying to become a new chaos god, but they have leaked some of it over on the Warhammer community thingy-bob, and I've been privy to some inside information about the law, and I can say I highly approve, and as soon as the NDAs are lifted to allow me to talk about it, Games Workshop are moving the law forward now with Vashtor, with the Arcs of Omens, and that they're saying as much. The cracking of Cadia, the formation of the Great Rift, wasn't the end of Abaddon's plans. No, that's the beginning. That's the first cut of the blade. He's been building to the conquest of the Imperium for 10,000 years, and they're moving the story forward. They're bringing a new demon Primarch back into the fold, and the chatter about the Lion and the return of Lionel Johnson is off the scale now. So this war is getting dark in the future, and there is only war, people. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with you the backstory behind the Arcs of Omen and the new Chaos Demon, and changes to the law that are coming up in the 40k verse, because it's getting nuclear, I believe. As I am a genius of 40k, as you all know, obviously, a lore master. You've seen the lore videos, right? Everyone's seen the lore videos? I've got one hand up from the Stay on Target team. Hands up if you've watched any of the lore videos, you know, when I put on the lore Shades of Doom and smack down some deep lore with my friends Warsmith Chris and Quipster. Hands up in the air if you've seen. Thank you, Adrian. Something about Abaddon. Corn for the cornflakes. Yes, that's an old one. Vanguard Wargaming is so excited about Vashtor, and he looks so damn cool, doesn't he? He's got that, the Lord of demonic engines, not the power of the machine spirit, but the anti-power of the demon spirit. And of course he's becoming more and more and more powerful, because back in the old days when there weren't very many machines around, how could you worship a machine? How could you do more than you should to a machine? Are you the kind of engineer that would take power from the gods in order to fuel this thing to make it better? Every time you're doing so, you're praying a little bit more to Vashtor. So yeah, of course he's becoming more and more and more powerful, because there's more and more and more machines, and there is only war. And even the other great 4 continents that are swimming in that dark ocean. There's a great analogy from Magnus in the Thousand Suns Horus Heresy book. So Magnus the Red feels like you get very. There's a lot of different impressions of the Sea of Souls in Warhammer 40k, the Horus Heresy. But the clearest eyes through which you see the warp in the Horus Heresy is through the eyes of Magnus, swimming the great ocean in the Thousand Suns. And imagine an ocean. And in that ocean, Magnus is a supernova. No one is coming near him, and there are sharks swimming, and there are shoals and tens of thousands of shoals, but they can't touch a supernova. And there are glowing patches like afterlight coming through from the upside down, and those glowing patches in the soft stuff of the ocean around you are planets. Those are billions of souls softly shining through, and there are cracks and crevices down in the deep, deep ocean. And then he can feel them, the four great chaos gods, moving below him like continents, like black holes. He stays away from them. Well, stays away from three of them. And even those gods, well, some of their worshippers really love machines too. So they have to share power with Vashtor. And Vashtor is growing. Seems to have found himself an ally. It makes sense. So 10 out of 10 marks 10 out of 10 for anyone from Games Workshop who's involved in that kind of lore. And if anyone is in the chat who knows someone who might know someone who could hear the appreciation, tell them that the appreciation starts about 10 minutes into the stream and finishes about now. So consistency, what you need to do to keep a YouTube channel going is make sure that you stick to a schedule like Mondays, and then people can, then more than 100 people, how many concurrent viewers? 65 of us. 65, I've got a couple of hands up there from the previous question, so thank you for watching some of the lore. If you haven't checked out some of my lore and would like to hear me ramble more, then check out the lore videos previously on the channel. I appreciate that you appreciate them, because I like talking about lore, and I like talking about lore with my friends, even when we're not doing 40k, when we're painting. So where are we? I'd love to see a story where Khal is secretly a follower of Vashtor. You see, the thing is, you've got Khal on one side and the power of the machine spirit, the omnisci, the machine god. Well, you're going to have an equivalent on Vashtor's side, a tech priest heretic from 10,000 years of age. And I think them introducing Vashtor into the 40k lore is the introduction of Bad Mech, is the introduction of Dark Mechanicum in the next edition, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed. I've got so many YouTube channels I need to catch up on videos. Brandon Myers, if you're not subscribed, guys, could you subscribe, please? Please. And if you haven't liked the stream yet, there's 80 people in here. When we started, we only had 30. Consistency is the key. I've got to do this consistently, not every now and then. I'm sorry I've let you down. But some more likes on the stream would be lovely. Some more concurrent viewers. We're up to 81. I'm looking at numbers. This is me, professional. How is everyone this evening? Ben, favourite plot... Ben asked, favourite lore plot hook. Plot hook. Favorite lore plot hook. There's a few, like Bjorn and Alfarius, I guess. Hi all, the data. Hello. Vanguard Wargaming is doing good. He's at work right now, though. Good on you watching this at work. You legend, you. Fight the good fight. Nigel Crawford's been painting some Black Templars. Well done. Sullivan Gilbert had COVID and flu jabs this morning, feeling groggy now. I'm sorry to hear that, Sullivan Gilbert. Thank you so much for the previous battle report. We're smashing it out the park with views on that. It's beating the algorithm. Hugo Merchant, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. If anyone receives a gifted membership from Hugo Merchant, make sure you give him a heart shape emoji back to Hugo Merchant, and another 5 gifted from Sam Nash. You two are legends. And not only that, Sam Nash has been a tier 3 channel member for 3 months. He says it's been a while. Yes, it has. So heartspan back at Sam Nash and Hugo Merchant if you receive a gifted membership from them. Yes, it's been a while. We were talking, Sam, about oh, by the way, did you watch the Horus heresy battle report I put up, which is available for tier 3 channel members? The first one I did. I think what I'm going to do actually, Sam, is put the first 3 or 4 for channel members only to entice people over because they're so good. And I know I'm fighting you, Sam. When am I fighting you? Sam, 10th, December the 10th. So that one's definitely got to go up, because if you get your 3,000 points worth of Space Wolves done by then, or 3,000 points worth of Night Lords done by then, I might have the Sons of Horus back then, but my Custodes list is nasty. Adrian member's been a smart for 10 months. Hey Winters, I hope all is well. All is well. Thank you for being a member. Tier 1 channel member for 10 months, Adrian Smart. May I suggest to you, Adrian, that you upgrade that Tier 1 membership to Tier 3 membership. Then you can come say hi to me in my Discord. You get Discord access, and you get access to all the additional videos that I've put up for channel members, which are the same as those that DZTV supporters get as well. So just become a Tier 3 channel member, join me in my Discord, say hi, and put, you know, I'm the one you blackmailed to upgrade my thing. Say hi, and I'll go like, thanks, hugs. And then you get access to all the, there's a couple of campaigns in there now. The Horus Heresy Battle Report we were just talking about. We're up to 85 viewers and 38 likes. Look at those numbers climb. David Genji has been a member for 10 months and he's a Tier 3 channel member. He's been doing it right. Cadians, your live stream and university studies, hope you're doing well. I'm doing groovy, my friend. Thank you so much. And the Dagd has been a member at Tier 3 for 9 months. What happened to the Grey Knight Dark Angel dude that Abaddon kidnapped, loving the channel? The Grey Knight Dark Angel dude. Grey Knight and Dark Angel? Is there a Grey Knight dude that he kidnapped? Don't think so. What happened to the Dark Angel dude that Abaddon kidnapped? Are you referring to Cypher, who got away? And then Alice Carver has upgraded his membership to Tier 3. Alice Carver asked Adrian Smart to do it, but seeing as you're here and you've upgraded to Tier 3, say hi in the chat when you join the Discord. Thank you so much. Adrian Smart, is Tier 3 different from my DZTV subscription in terms of content? No. Adrian, Tier 3 and DZ is the same. The only difference is if you are a subscriber to Deployment Zone, you support both me and Liam equally. You support both of our projects and you support the growth of the Deployment Zone community as a whole and all the wonderful things they've been able to bring to my life, to Liam's life, and to many people's lives across the UK in particular, because what we've done is put on DZTV GT events once a month, every month, and you get all the details for that on the Deployment Zone page if you want to go to tournaments. We've got DZ days on the first weekend at tabletop events every month, and they're open and narrative event days. I think that's £15, and tabletop events are just near Nottingham, halfway between Nottingham and Derby. And that's when the community comes together with the tabletop events guys, which is James March of War. You know him very well, he's been on the channel loads. Come together and dream up weird, because tabletop events make scenery. James makes scenery, and also there's this other guy, and I forget his name. I forget the scenery company. I'm very sorry. If someone knows what it is, spam it in the chat. Thank you so much. But they can make custom scenery for some of the missions that we do at the DZ days once a month, every month. So we've got one in South, which is competitive, one in the middle, which is not competitive. There is King in the North. There is my narrative event, which will be at tabletop events at the end of May. There is, we did in Swansea, just gone, was the Wild West 2 that just happened. There is Weekend at Bernie's, which hasn't been advertised, and I believe it's already sold out. And then if you become a DZTV patron, then, because say you're just a member of my channel or a member of Liam's channel because you want to support us independently, then you can become a DZTV patron and join that community. And at the patron level, it unlocks all of the Discord. And there's like 150 pages in that Discord. It is epic, including pinning yourself in a global map of over 2,000 members. And there comes into region by region and by region breakdown. And I know of hundreds of people over the last 2-3 years that have only fought people inside the deployment zone, either in the UK or in America and in Poland and in Germany, that have met up with each other in these micro communities that communicate through the deployment zone patron website. Because the way I see it, it's almost like the Facebook of Warhammer 40k, because the people in the deployment zone community patron thing aren't really competitive people. We don't tend to attract the tabletop titans of this world, or the goon hammers, we don't tend to attract those. We tend to attract the older, more civilized, more intelligent type. There's loads of stuff scrolling I have to read. Alice Carver's upgraded to a member, already part of the Discord, loving it. But when did you bash my choice of crisps? Ed is the other half of Tabletop Events. Hugo Marchant, yes, he is. Thank you. Adrian Zawara has been a member for 10 months at Tier 1. Any news on Season 3 of the Hobbypocalypse? First, Adrian, please upgrade to Tier 3. Join my Discord. Get all the extra videos. And Season 3 of the Hobbypocalypse, there should be, I'm not even supposed to talk about it, but it's probably teaser trailers coming in December. And the boys have got a lot of special plans for that. And then, of course, there'll be an event at the end of the DZTV Hobbypocalypse. Last time, in Season 2 of the Hobbypocalypse, which is exclusive to Deployment Zone, and you should watch it, by the way, if it's you should join the Deployment Zone, because you get a lot more content. If you join the Deployment Zone, you get me and Liam combined, and you get all these wonderful collaborative people, all the Sultans, all the Styluses, all the Brapscallions, all the say Highballs, all the Steve Not Robs, all the Rob Not Steves, all the Liam, obviously. I'm missing some, and they're going to kill me. Guys, who am I missing? Mikey P, Mr. AP Byrne, Adrian. Thank you for your donation. I have a DZTV yearly membership. Rock out, brother. Praise to the motherfucking Emperor, yo. So those are all the different things. Clear as water. Got it? So consistency I was talking about. You keep sidetracking me. What is the army you would really like to play against in the new year, Alice Carver? What is the army I'd really like to play against? What I'd really like to do in the new year is film micro battles in Ulanor 3 using the 4 legions, not Ulanor 3, Isfahan 3, the very start of the Horus heresy, using World Eaters, Death Guard, Sons of Horus, Empress Children on the battlefields of Isfahan 3, fighting to hold a crossroads, fighting to take back a thing. The Battle of Isfahan 3 went on for 3 months, and some of the Emperor's children were loyalists and some of them were traitors. And some of them, I'd like to do that. And the Emperor's children are coming along. Well, that one you can barely see. So I'm painting the Emperor's children, and Den of Imagination are painting up the Sons of Horus. And so, yeah, this is my terrible paintwork, but it looks, it's the white on the Emperor's children, purple back then, signifies Terran or Terran ancestry, of Terran stock. And most of the Terrans stayed loyal. So this guy's pretty cool. So we got that happening, and I also did more Necrons, stabby guy. I gave him all the Gauss because Necrons actually, they don't have much anti-tank, but the anti-tank they have is very anti-tanky, like the Doom stuff and the Doom Flyer, and that they can anti-tank if they want anti-tank. What they don't have is a lot of good damage AP at range except for destroyers, and then the 6 shots on these bad boys, and so I've done a couple of them. So that high power mid-range fire. What you find in the Necron Codex is they've got a chunk of stuff that does high power long range, chunk of stuff that does high power mid-range, but that's all it does. And then that's all it does. And a chunk of stuff that does, I mean, Scorpec Destroyer Lords are a perfect example of them. There's something, there's a chunk of damage in close combat, but doesn't have much to mitigate it back again and cannot shoot at all. And Gauss destroyers, Lockhurst destroyers, they can do a lot of damage in shooting, but they can't really fight at all. Necrons are a nice army to play because the units, each unit typically does a lot of something, and that's all it does. So even those these are absolutely terrible in close combat, 3 attacks and all that, what they're good at doing is laying down a lot of fire at mid-range and taking it. They can just take, they'd count them as mobile turrets. You don't really need to get them into close combat. And then I did a couple of these. So it's been a month and I've been smashing out the things. And if anyone would like to contribute to the Horus Heresy project, then please become a subscriber and like in the chat and a channel member. That's it. Become a tier 3 channel member. Join my Discord. In fact, consistency. Hello, Winters, Devil Lord, Chunky Biscuits. Oh, I do love a chunky biscuit. Models are looking good. Winter Sanguinary Guard. Thank you very much. Yes. What with the old man's eyesight, I'm quite pleased that I'm learning how to speed paint more and more. Developing more skills. You don't stop developing the skills that you know, it's not just riding a bike, right? You get better and better and better at painting. And if you get kit bashing, you get better and better and better at kit bashing. And if you want to play competitively, then you play a lot and you get better and better and better. And I'm a slow learner, but I know how to paint well, and I'm learning how to cheat better. I guess when I started, there was a lot less models going around, and it was lead, and it was expensive, and you made each one count. And I think a lot of people, when they start the hobby, do that as well. That's the question. Hands in the air if you're this person. When you started the hobby, you tried to paint to the best of your ability. You tried to get good painting, you tried to paint good miniatures, you wanted to get a good unit together or a good couple of units together or a good and that's how you started it. And you tried to make your army look as good as it can, or bits of your army, or just the models that you bought at the time. Say you bought Magnus, as good as you could. Say you ended up buying a Leviathan Dreadnought, then just as good as you could. If you start off that way, hands in the air, and now you're a person that just tries to get it done quickly, but look good. Is that you? Because I'm now the kind of person that tries to get it done quickly, but look good. So let's poll that. Where's the poll thing? I don't know how to add the poll thing. I don't know how to poll thing. Okay, so I suppose hands up, no one. Just me then, huh? Just me then, chat. You're leaving me out on a limb like that. Just, I am the only person out of 100 people that feels. Alice Carver, that's definitely me. Thank you. There's 2 of us in his house right now that at the start of the hobby, we tried to make them look as good as we could. Maybe there were less models around at that time. Maybe that was, you just loved it so much. The model that you bought, that you wanted to do it as most justice as you can. But now you just want to get an army done. You want the army to look good, but you want an army done because you don't just want to field a model. You want to field a whole army. Alice Carver, thank you. Tagus Gaming, yes. Joe PT, yes. You want to get an army done because I'll tell you what looks better than a model that you paint really well. Like you're building your 30k army and you get your first 30k Mark III pattern Rhino done. Obviously, you put the Dozer blade on it. Gets it up to 40 points, but it re-rolls dangerous terrain tests because every vehicle in 30k that goes over an obstacle and it doesn't have move through cover will become immobilized on a roll of a 1. So you've got a 1 in 6 chance every time you move a vehicle that it just stops. Your expensive land raid or whatever it is could just stop on a 1. Little thing at the front, pushing all the crap and all the rubble and all the bars that would be sticking, and dead bodies. Don't forget, Khan the Betrayer was stuck on one of these on Isfahan 3, but not on one of these, on the front of a Spartan, hanging around in his fight with Loken. I mean, Loken, Garviel Loken, God bless him, Emperor bless him. I can't think of someone that he has lost in close combat to. I mean, even Garrow put his sword down against Cerberus and said, look, mate, if you kill me, then that makes you a traitor, because I know I'm a loyalist. I know I'm a loyalist. So if you kill me, that makes you a traitor. And that's what brought Loken back from where he had gone. So Khan was the closest to smacking him down, but even Garrow stepped away. And I can't think of anyone like Garrow's. I mean, Garrow better beat a demon on the surface of the moon. How cool is that? Angron leg press the Titan. Yes, he did. Loken is my man. Angron leg press the Titan, Dickie. But Sanguinius uppercut 2 of them in the Siege of Terror. 2 Warhound Titans. Bam, Dan. Sanguinius, 2 Titans for 1. Then he turned around and looked at a Reaver Titan on the battlements and said, you want some? And the Reaver Titan went, nah, and just left. True story. Angron made best leg pressed 1, but Sanguinius took 2 of them bad boys down. That's why Angron is the worst Primarch in the universe ever, and the only Primarch that didn't conquer the planet on which he was born. There were 20 Primarchs made. 3 of them failed. 2 of them we don't even know about. But the third one that failed, that had nails driven into its head and didn't even conquer the planet he was born on, was Angron. And because the Emperor is such a merciful God, he even let Angron come along to the rodeo. Trusting. Good guy father. Giving them every opportunity to join in freeing humanity from the clutches of chaos. The use of psychers. The use of warp travel. The extinguishing, the eradication of religion. So that source of corruption, that source of entropy that the demons draw on, that worship, even the notion of worship, that much faith, even if you're worshipping a rock, that amount of devotion is manna from heaven to the 4 great continents floating in the ocean of the void. The deep, dark places of the world, the kind of places at night where literal demons come out and chew your legs off. Yeah. A world without that, a universe without that. What a hero. And of course, we worship the Emperor of Mankind in this chat, don't we? Hands in the air. Who worships the Emperor of Mankind? Don't leave me hanging here. High five all the way. Come on now. And even if you don't worship the God Emperor of Mankind, at least 13 emoji, at least 13th. Come on. Hands up in the air for the 13th. Our plucky underdogs just making their way in the world today. It takes everything you've got. And taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. But they can't get away. They're just stuck in a grim, dark future trying to help and trying to rebuild and trying to save destroyed human homeworlds, save the last few remnants, the last diehards, the last veterans in the underground bunkers once the Imperium has rolled away. Take those guys out because they're killers and they'll fight for you, and you need to throw the strongest of what humanity has got left back just to keep the tide from coming in and in and in. You've got to fight back. Offense is the best defense in this grim, dark galaxy. Hands in the air, people. We've had lots of hands in the air from Ephraim in there, 3D, and Tegus123 Gaming, and Kuba13, and Asbo, Disgusting and Resilient all the way, but still Hands in the Air, and A Kirby, and Securus, and Sky saying for the Imperium. See, and all the rest of you who didn't put your hands in the air for the 13th or for the Imperium. Come on now. It's humanity. It's us we're talking about. Talking about you too. Okay? Can you feel my love? Can you feel it? Love for humanity. Love for you. Because you're here. Hearts in the chat. Am I overdoing it? We did hearts earlier. Now we're doing hands up. Now we're almost 100 concurrent viewers. It's about consistency, you see. It's about consistency. So while we're on the page of overdoing it, because I'm not doing this consistency, I've been told off by DZTV regulars and my wife and others for not doing my live streams consistently, which is why we're not even at 100 viewers. But thank you for putting hands in the air and at least screaming out for the Emperor. So we're going to try on the consistency front now. We're going to keep going with this. Before I get into future thoughts, because thinking forward, I had some ideas. I'm not consistent, though I'm trying to be, and I'm not trying very hard. DZTV Chewy's in the house. Hi, Chewy. I'm not trying that hard, am I? But I am trying as best as I can. And I figure that instead of consistent, what you've got is this. And what you'll also have is channel members. People put it up, and we've had 10 gifted channel members this evening. So, you know, people put the technical thing up in the side of the screen to say new channel members. Well, I can't do that technical thing, but what I have got is a trophy I won because it's the wrong way around. Because over a year ago today, I won the No Retreat Legends of Legends trophy because I went over to Gibraltar and I beat a bunch of tournament people and showed them that we can do it, guys. That anyone can do it. Anyone can be a champion. You just gotta believe in yourself and practice all the time. I practice till I blew my mind. 10 new channel members on my new technical thing over in the corner. Let's do this pro. We've got hands in the air. We've got hearts in the chat. I'm actually communicating with my channel for the first time. I need to do this more often, don't I? Who else have we got in here? What trophy? That trophy up there. I'll tell you what, I won 2 of my games by a point, and one was against Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics, and one was against the other guy from Tabletop something. God damn it, my brain. I've played him a few times as well. Steve from something. Beat both of them by a point. And I played them both before so many times, and it was such good fun playing against those guys. The banter we had, the laughs that we shared. I've really enjoyed their channels, and just to beat them by a point, I mean, just a different turn of the dice, just a different move here or there, and they'd have won the tournament instead. The people who you wanted to have the best games with, I had the best games with. So, yes, that was lovely. So, the other thing that it was I figured that the community itself, the DZTV community and my YouTube community, I thought that I had the opportunity, had the time to practice. And what could I do for us? What could I do for my channel? What could I do for you? I had that sense as well. And it was It was a great motivating force to want to do well for someone else. So it also meant that if I didn't do well, at least I tried, which is the thought that counts, right? It's the and I even though you wouldn't know, I would have known that I'd have tried very hard for someone else to have as much fun and to play as well as I could and to try and do it for the community as much as I was doing it for myself. And the fun part overrode the actual trying really hard part, because Liam Dempsey from Liam Dempsey's YouTube channel kept handing me cider. God, the second night hangover was a monster, and I'm old, 50 next year. She's thinking about taking me out of the country. Anyway, we're up to 10 channel members. So if someone this evening, if someone could become a channel member at tier 3, that'd be lovely. See, what you need to do to encourage to get new channel members is consistency. That's what they keep telling me. Steve, not Rob, last time he was round and we filmed a game. I don't know. Is that one up yet? I'm not sure it's up yet. It was against Sultan, I think. And he was talking, we need consistency. You need, if you do something, you need to keep doing it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, Steve. Yeah, I know, Steve. And Steve, not Rob, is someone I very much respect because I've known him for 5 years now. B, he's a really super nice guy who can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, but he's got a lot of interesting things to say, so you want to listen to him. And C is an MMA 20-year professional and can beat the living shit out of you, so when he talks you listen to him. And he's from Dorset, which is also very scary because they have webbed toes. Yeah, and he said consistency, and I'm thinking maybe if I just ask for another channel member, I might get one at tier 3, please. Anyone? Bueller? No, clearly my way of doing it by just asking isn't the right way. Steve, not Rob, I'm sorry. Consistency. You're absolutely right. So let's move on. It's embarrassing, okay? Let's pretend we never mentioned this and I never asked, and we'll just, okay? And then we'll talk about the thing. Imagine Winters getting another trophy that he never mentions. Mr. Wise, who knows the most consistent? Bobby G? Absolute Rubbish has become a tier 3 channel member. Welcome to the 13th. What a legend. I was hanging out on a limb right there, and Absolute Rubbish came in and high-fived me up. Slap. Boom. I asked. You delivered, you absolute genius. So maybe consistency isn't the key. Maybe just asking. Maybe every now and then do one of these. Ask for another channel member. Absolute Rubbish, please join my Discord. Say hi. I'll say hi. I got a shower after this and I cool myself off. This is 11 now, and then I'll be in the Discord for a bit. But 1 minute. Did I tell anyone? If you don't ask, you don't get, says Dickie. Absolutely. No. If anyone knows how to do the thing in the corner of the screen, so you know that it just counts for you or something, and then become a tier 3 channel member and tell me in the Discord. We could avoid all this. So it's a team effort here, people. We could avoid all this. Right. I showed you some of my models, right? So we've been painting. The Emperor's Children are coming. Den of Imagination are doing the Sons of Horus. And I've got a chunk of Death Guard to send them. So we'll have Sons of Horus, Death Guard, and Emperor's Children. And so hopefully by February, I want to say, we can definitely start filming a campaign in the Coral City on Isfahan 3. And then the idea last is to get some World Eaters, and they'll be all Destroyer squads and maybe 4 Contemptors, like 2 units of 2 Contemptors. Contemptors is the wave, obviously, if you want to win Warhammer 30k if you want to play it as a tournament or build the best list you can, and then it's Dreadnought meta. But everyone I've spoken to who's interested and playing 30k, which again tells you something about the channel members that I have and the channel members that Deployment Zone has, everyone I've spoken to is interested in building their list, their 30k list. Not just going, okay, 7 Contemptors, one of them is my HQ with 2 Leviathans running up and win. And a Armna for 3D, welcome to the 13th tier 3, you legend. If you're an up-and-coming, I'm speechless. If you're an up-and-coming YouTuber, consistency is not the way. What you need to do is just ask, and your community is awesome and they will deliver. And the Dagda's just dropped a donation. Expedimithus in the Pandorix. I don't know what you mean, but something there for you guys to read. That the Dagda. Thank you for your donation. 1 minute. So yeah, upgrading the new members chart. It would sure be nice about now if I had a button or something. Anyone? Bueller? So Alice Carver says, Winters, I have World Eaters for 30k. So exactly. So in spring of next year, hit me up. And what I want to do is about, not so much a campaign, but what I want to do is like have about 10 or 12 battles over a short period of time in Isfahan 3, maybe 1 or 2 going out a week. Say 2 out a week, and you release 2 out a week for an entire month and call it Isfahan 3 month. And then that's 8, bam, Horus heresy videos between the traitors and the loyalists in the maelstrom of Isfahan 3 in the ruins of the coral city after it had been virus bombed. The first match that sparked the war, the first thing that the traitors did is kill their own kind, is fratricide. That's the first thing they did. Isfahan 5 and the drop site massacre was second. The first thing they did is brother killed brother. And I put to you that the loyalists that died in the battlefields of Isfahan 3 were more loyal than the Ultramarines or the Imperial Fists that never turned. Because those later legions and Corax and the Iron Hands never needed to make the decision between the Emperor and their Primarch. Do I choose the Emperor or my Primarch? Do I choose Rubuti Guilliman or Rogel Dawn or Layman Russ? Or do I choose the Emperor? They never had that choice. But the loyalists in the cauldron of Isfahan 3 had to make that choice. And the loyalists all chose Emperor first. I love the content you make, says Amber 3D. And I love to see the fights matches you make. Yeah, so I want to do like Isfahan 3 and show the cauldron and see and do a fight over a rune tower, a fight at a crossroads, a fight at a breach in the wall. And it can be, these fights could be asymmetrical as well. There could be just holdout fights, things like that. There'll definitely be fights where Emperor's children are allied up with the Sons of Horus, as often happened. By the last battle in the Coral City at Isfahan 3, there were 3,000 Emperor's children left, and he said half as many Sons of Horus. So there was 4,500 left in the last battle of the Coral City. That's 3 months in. There were some Death Guard and some World Eaters left as well, but not very many, because the Death Guard were out in the trenches and the World Eaters was doing as many ambushing things as they possibly could. And you've got to remember that Angron had been fighting through the city off and on for 3 months as well. So to be alive with, say, 5,000 loyalists 3 months in against Primarchs, there's also a future quote where Abaddon bemoans the fact, and this is halfway through the Horus Heresy, but Abaddon bemoans the fact that the last time he picked up his sword was on Isfahan 3. And I think it's like little Horus is saying to him, you know, you can't go down there. It might even be in Nemesis, where he convinces Horus not to go down there, and he goes down there himself, so little Horus gets his head blown off. It might be that one. And I think that's in Nemesis. And so from that, we have confirmed from the Horus's mouth that Horus also fought on the Edisvan 3 as well. It's the last time he fought side by side with his sons. And Angron was down there. Mortarion was probably down there. Fulgrim, we know, was preparing Isvan 5. So we want to do that. Soltarvitz was a true hero, yeah. Soltarvitz was the first loyalist. Soltarvitz was the last loyalist on Isvan 3. Soltarvitz in 30k grants units within 12 inches of him fearless. He's just crazy good. And in a challenge, he gets an extra couple of attacks. Soltarvitz is like your standard captain for 40k people, guys. He's like a captain, right? But his rules in 30k means that he gets better the opponent is. And if he has to challenge the opponent, he gets extra attacks that way as well. On the charge, extra attacks against Emperor's children, even more attacks against Lucius, even more. Yeah. So his rules are epic and make sense, and his lore is also genius. So anyway, 50 minutes in. Thank you to the, how many viewers are we up to? The 12 new members this evening. Did I do that right? Or are we on 13? We're on 12. Thank you to them. They should have made it so you can lock the Tarvitz and Garrow hands together. Yeah, they never actually... See, Garrow didn't go down there, did he? He got Loken down there. Solomon Demeter down there as well. Anyway, yes, so showed you the minis, things like that. Thanks for everyone watching this. Now I want to tell you about my forward thoughts, thinking thoughts, looking forward. So I haven't done one of these in a while, and I've been painting away and enjoying myself playing 30k in particular. 40k right now is complicated. And I think the best way to play 40k right now is to play the armies that are less complicated. And I've spoken to a number of people. That's one of the reasons why I picked Necrons. I haven't played Admech for a very long time. I haven't played 40k Custodes or Orcs. I don't want to think that hard. I like Death Guard because they do what they do. I like Necrons because they do what they do. Most Space Marine chapters do what they do. And you've got less trickery. It's okay if there is... See, previously it was the Dark Eldar. They were the ones with all the trickery. But now you've got it in Genestealer Cults, and now you've got it in Votan, and now you've got it with Demons. There's so much trickery going on right now. And then you've got relics and warlord traits and stratagems and it's just... Yeah, it's hard for a lot of people. And another problem with Warhammer 40k right now is there's a number of abilities that debuff your opponent, or when you're on the attack, or when you're doing... There's so many things that there are so many rules that you go up against that make your army shitter. Okay? So Vanguard Wargaming GSC is probably the most needlessly complex book. Sanguinary Guard, Relics and Warlord Traits, not if you want your CP. That's if you only play match play, tournament play. You can play, what's it called? Tempest of War and get full CP. You can play match play from the main rulebook and get full CP. You can play open play, get full CP. There's loads of different ways to play 40k. That's another problem. There should be two ways to play Warhammer 40k. There should be tournament play and casual play. And the casual plays, there should be a number of rules for casual play. So you can play old school Maelstrom of War, Tempest of War, but easier. No actions. Get actions out of the game. Actions are a rule where I'm playing against the rules. Actions get in the way of me playing against my opponent's army. Instead, my army is doing this with the rules. I don't want my army to be doing some things with the rules. I want my army to be doing some things with the opponent's army, or outflanking, or things like that. Those should be gone. So you have old school Tempest of War, Maelstrom of War, no actions in there. You have casual pickup games in there. You have rules for narrative play in there. And then you have restrictions, which is the tournament matched play section. And you introduce restrictions because look at all the video games that are out there, the ones that do tournaments, the CDL League, the whatever, pick one of them. There's restrictions on the maps you play, the weapons you can pick, any perks, things like that, or secondaries. They can all be restricted. So you have a tournament play set which says you can only bring 2 flyers and the rest of us can go ham, and you have a tournament set that restricts CP usage, or restricts this or restricts that. You could even restrict detachments in there. Tournament play could just have patrol, battalion, and the other one in there, and those are the only ones they could pick from, and no allies. You could do loads of restrictions on tournament play to tighten up the rules and reduce RNG, reduce variability wherever you can. Hell, you could put restrictions on there to say the most number of mortal wounds you could ever take in any one phase is 6, and put that as a restriction in match play, tournament play. You could do lots of things, so long as you don't over spam the number of restrictions in there, and then tweak and balance those restrictions as the tournament scene needs it. It's better to tweak the restrictions than tweak and change all the rules all the time. So yeah, that's one of the problems with it. And the last problem with 40k right now is there's too many rules in there that nerf you, that the opponent does. So transhuman, I mean, if you're the receiving end, if you're trying to hit something and you can't wound it on a 1, 2, 3, or trans-hitman, those abilities where you can't hit on a 1, 2, 3, or those things that reduce your AP or the amount of damage you have coming in. The things where where you think your army could do X, Y, Z, and all of a sudden can't do X, Y, Z, because the opponent has abilities that nerf you. Reduce your damage, reduce your output, slow you down, stop you from charging, half your charge distances, stop you piling in. All of those things. They don't have them in 30k. What you've got in 30k is abilities that help you do something. That help you're better at what you do. There's not many of them, but the ones that turn up, because there's not many of them, feel more narrative, feel more accurate, they don't feel dirty. It's like, okay, I can leap through here, I can do this, I can fire twice, or they feel right. And yeah, hard to articulate what I'm trying to say. Someone stick some words in the chat. You know what I mean? When you think your unit should be able to do a bit more of something, they can typically do a bit more of something. Or you think you've got a HQ that can buff something or move, it works better. And having rules where you nerf your opponent feels bad. Having rules, 40k's got a lot of feel bad rules right now. A lot of rules that feel bad. They all need to go. And Sam Nash gifted another membership. Thank you so much. Whoever receives the heart to Chris, Sam, thank you. Guys, do the heart thing now. That's like everyone says thank you to Sam again for being awesome. And making me right on my heart. Thank you, Vanguard Wargame. Thank you, 13. See, 13 members for the 13. Bit of technology to be able to do that would be much better. Right, so what was I talking about? Futures. I'm trying to get onto the future bit. Sounds consistent to me. Heart shapes from Dicky, Huber Marchant, Vanguard Wargaming. Hanging it in there. Well done. So yeah, I think 40k right now has got too many rules that... Well, it has too many rules for a start. It needs to lose about half of them or more. The game will still be as tactical AF with half as many rules. Chest has 4,000 times the least... has thousands of times more rules, English, than Warhammer 40k does, and it's tactical. More rules. You can have 1 million rules in 40k. You can have 2 billion rules in 40k and stratagems into doesn't make it any more tactical. There is no tactical to rule scale that says if I put... You can't put it in a supercomputer and say 2 billion. Does that make it the most tactical game of all time? 1 million? I don't know when chaos theory would kick in with randomness and probabilities and 1 by 1 and then 10 by 10. But it kicks in pretty soon. So then you end up with something chaotic and hard to track it. Perhaps something over, I don't know, 1 to the power of pi, or even something as low as 100 rules. And 40k's got thousands. Anyway, Quipster's in the chat. Hi Quipster. Yo, what's happening? Well, we've got a new electronic scorecard over there that shows us 13 new... It's not electronic. This is what we have to do. I need someone like you, Quipster, a tech genius, who can make a number appear somewhere in the thing. And that makes this, because that's a number of times I've had to turn around like that to do that. Bad back, get to a certain age. Anyway, yes, that's what we're here to talk about. Hell again, Quipster's there. I believe he's rambling. I was. So I was moaning a bit about 40k. We're going to put that behind us because we know a new edition's coming. If anyone is looking forward to the new edition, I'll be very interested to see. Hands up or hearts, hands up in the chat if you're looking forward to the new edition while I go on to my next subject. The reason why I gathered you all here together this evening. Quipster is good. Haha. Love a good winter's ramble. Don't forget to check out @QuipsterNerd on Instagram. And his lovely girlfriend Sylvia Paints on Instagram. I think that's common knowledge. Lots of hands up in the chat there. A thumbs down from Dr. Functional. Come on, Dr. Functional. PVO. Positive vibes only. Quipster Nerd, I'm looking forward to it because 10th will be a simplification of it all. Yes, me too. There's too many rules. You can take half of them away and also reduce as many feel-bad rules as you possibly can. If you're going to introduce rules that buff units, great. Don't introduce rules that debuff units, or minimize that wherever possible. So it's extremely rare. And that'll make the game feel better. That'll make the game feel less feel-badsy. So we've got lots of hands in the chat. People looking forward to 10th. That's good. Sullivan Gilbert, have just about figured out 9th. Must we change? I know, right? Yes, we do. It's for the good of us all, Sullivan Gilbert. Now, I know you're old like me, Sullivan. I mean, I think, you see, what happens in Tempest of War is the youngest player always places the first objective. I don't know if guys know that, but listen to this one. This is a good one. Sylvia says hi. Hi, Sylvia. Hi. Hi, it's Winters here. Great meeting you at the thing. And meeting you and stuff. It was wonderful to see your Rubuti Guliman painted miniature on the Horus Heresy Weekender and in the Warhammer community. And if anyone in the chat hasn't subscribed to Quipster Nerd, @QuipsterNerd on Instagram, or @Sylvia Paints in the Instagram, go and do it to check out some wonderful hobby, awesome goodness. So that's the thing. I agree, give it at least a year. So yeah, what I was saying to Sullivan Gilbert, who said just about figured out 9th, must we change? And the answer is, Sullivan, we must. Stop being so selfish. You're old, you're 50. And in Tempest of War, what happens is the person who is youngest puts down the first marker, the objective marker, And I always put it down second, guys. I always put it down second. Craig, the longer Ninth goes on, the more I dislike it. Exactly. Craig gets it. I'm always the first one to put down the marker because I'm not the youngest. And Sullivan Gilbert came round, and God bless his socks, he's a year older than me. I'm 50 next year. Okay? Don't hold it against me. Sullivan was lovely. We're smashing the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm in that video, so it shows a lot more people than normal like that one. And I like Sullivan Gilbert too, not just because he's a year older than me, but he wears it well. Right, so we're up to 13. That's what I'm saying. Quipster, check out Quipster Nerd, Silver Paints on Instagram. Two good friends of mine, they're lovely. Sullivan Gilbert, heart in the chat. Heart to you too, brother. Looking forward to kicking your ass next time you come round. We won't even mention to people who didn't see it on DZTV just how much you kicked my ass the first time round. Because if they haven't seen it, then it might be like dry land, which is a myth. And I know you're old enough to remember Waterworld. And it was actually quite good. I don't know what all the fuss was about. I liked Waterworld. I think it's one of those films that has... managed to withstand the test of time a little bit as well, because it was pre-CGI and all that, so it's still, you know. And Kevin Costner, come on, he was in Robin Hood. It was good. Kevin was our man for a bit, guys. Come on. Anyone else old enough to remember Kevin in his prime? The Postman. I'll cut his heart out with a spoon, brother. Why a spoon, cousin? Because it's dull, fool. It'll hurt more. Alan Rickman, R.I.P. Absolute boss. Fantastic actor. The world is a shallower, softer, greyer place without creative people like Alan Rickman in it, and without creative people like you. I have to let you talk amongst yourself for a second because I've run out of water. We need to get to what I wanted to talk about at the very start of this live stream. So I'm going to do the be right back thing. I've never done this before. This could be the end of the stream. Get more water, come back. In the meantime, I need you to talk amongst yourselves about the best Alan Rickman movie. Okay? Best Alan Rickman movie, go. Is this thing on? Die Hard. Time Bandits. Die Hard. Snape from Harry Pothead. Love Actually. He's fantastic in Love Actually. He is fantastic. And so much pathos in that character. I appreciate him more now I'm older. As well as consistency, you shouldn't burp at your community as well. Be consistent if you're a struggling YouTuber, delivering, talking, communicating with your audience, your community. I don't know what I'm delivering, but consistently talk to them, and then you'll get new channel members like the 13 Rome, another great TV series like the 13 I've had today. Root beer and don't burp and consistent. Anyone else like root beer? Hands, thumbs up or down for root beer. Tastes like that stuff at the doctor's surgery. No, a mouthwash that the dentist might give you. It's lovely. And this is Aussie stuff. And my local Asda ran out of it for about 6 months. And this is the first time I've been... other brands, hashtag not ad. Other root beers apply. Thumbs up from Sanguinary Guard for root beer. So just one then. And Mr. Wise. If you've never had root beer, you should try it. It's definitely a unique flavour. It tastes like mouthwash that your dentist might give you, which is quite tasty. But you can't swallow it because then all the bits, your teeth. And don't burp at your audience. We'll edit this out later. Right, root beer. Anyway, had to go. Found it today. Got loads of it. I'll tell you what else I was today. I went to Swindon Town Centre on a Tuesday in November. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's like stepping off the shallow end of the gene pool. You know, that was frightening. So it reminded me why I should never do that, by the way. I forget sometimes. There's a Games Workshop there. Didn't go, though. It was other things. Sometimes you have to, right? You just have to see what the inner cities and towns look like, and pray to the Emperor and thank the Emperor that at least you could be in Liverpool. And, you know, at least you're not there. Anyway, we're back. I am not burping. Stay on target. It occurs to me, never had root beer. We have 2 thumbs up for root beer. So the target this evening is thinking forward. I was thinking, 1, that you don't need to be consistent, that you can just ask, and I'm right. And 2, what am I going to do in the future? What do I want to do in the future? 40k? Well, yes, I want to play 40k, I want to play 30k, and I want to share my hobby journey with you, as I've been sharing it with you for the last 8 years and really enjoying the journey, and can't believe that I can believe that I'm an internet person now, because I've been an internet person for a couple of years, but can't believe that I'm still here being an internet person. So thank you for everyone who's chosen to support me in whatever way you've chosen to support me. But it's lovely being an internet person, because I remember not being an internet person, and I also remember being in Liverpool once. So you don't want to do that. These are bad things. You want to... Well, these are necessary things for most people most of the time, and they were necessary for me for the longest time, because you do what you can in this crazy darkness, this roller coaster of life where you're clinging on. I mean, Ronan Keating said it best: life is a roller coaster, just got to ride it. Sometimes it makes you scream, sometimes it makes you puke, but if you can at least scream and be happy while you're getting thrown upside down and through the curves, you know, what else you got? And then here we eventually got to the point where I'm such an idiot, I'm now a full-time internet person, so thank you so much for that. Mr. Wise says, thank you for being the most genuine person on the interwebs. Thank you. I don't know if I am. I'm certainly a person on the interwebs. Sultan does have the entire chapter collected, says Aussie, and I don't know what you're talking about. Devastation of Baal campaign. Don't burp. Blood Angels. He's got a lot of Blood Angels. An absolute legend. If life is like a roller coaster, I don't like roller coasters. You know what I mean. Anyway, forward. What is the future? The future is 40k and 30k and continuing to share this roller coaster with you and have fun and try and make the best battle reports I can, and try and be as entertaining as I can, and try and tell stories. Really, I like telling stories, and I've got a story that's been lodged in my head since I was a teenager, and I want to get it out of me, because I was thinking, like, 50 next year, and the year after that I'm going to be 60. So 10 years after that, a year after that, 10 years after that I'll be 60. 60 odd, playing 40k. How many people will want to watch a 60-year-old man playing 40k? Maybe a lot of you will be 60 by then as well. And just like Cliff Richard fans, will grow old together. And I'll be walking around a table at the age of 65 saying, right, and now oh, this isn't like the old days. These Space Marine bolt guns, they're nothing now. And now you've got these other things and over here. And it was so much easier when there weren't 10 Primarchs around. Oh, in the old days. Oh. And having to use really big dice because I'll be blind by then. I'm partially blind. It'd be 15 years' time. Is there... Who's going to watch it? What stories can I tell? Do I become a lore channel? Would have I finally given in to all my sins and been found dead on some beach in Baja, buried in a mountain of Class A narcotics with dead hookers all around me and 2 dead penguins? And it looks clearly in the investigation that one of the penguins killed the other penguin with a knife. You know, do I end up there with my eyebrows shaved off, tattooed head to foot, and a smile on my face? Who knows? Maybe we get the zombie apocalypse finally, and you've got to survive all 3 stages of the zombie apocalypse, of course. The first stage is the, quite simply, Dawn of the Walking Dead phase. It's the first 24 or 48 hours zombie. It's like OMG. Most people get it then. It's phase 2 of the zombie infestation, obviously, is the longer game, is what happens in the weeks and the months after the first 24 48 hours. That's phase 2 zombie movie. Also done quite well in The Quiet Place, for example, things like that. Or phase 2 zombie movie is 28 days later and 28 weeks later, both of which are excellent. The first one obviously more excellent because it's just genre breaking in its time. And then there's phase 3 zombie apocalypse movie, which is a rarer one, but basically it's Mad Max, Waterworld, it's those sort of, it's The Postman, it's The Road, it's The Book of Eli. It's what's happened after all the zombies are dead, or there's very few zombies left, and the main opponent for man is more man, or woman, or half zombie dogs, or whatever it is. It's the post-apocalyptic where morality really comes down to who is the strongest. That's, you know, Book of Eli was excellent as well. No zombies in any of those movies that I quoted, but you get the point. Zombie apocalypse would be over pretty quickly as long as people don't panic. People will panic. Dicky, yes, that's what I mean. The first part, zombie apocalypse, first 24, 48 hours, boom, that's when, yeah, look at World War Z. That's just lots of people dead in the first bit. And that's why when he wakes up in 28 days later, most of London are dead. Yeah, the first 24, 48 hours. So there'll be panic. There'll be dogs and cats living together. It'll be atrocious. So the future. What do I want to do when I'm 65, 75? And I've got this story inside of me, and it's been percolating inside of me since I was a teenager. And I did lots of role-playing in my late teens and 20s. And most of the role-playing I did was set in a world which I made. And lots of people played in my brain in this fantasy world. And I've got stories that I want to tell from there. And I think one of the things I'd like to leave behind, because I don't have any kids, but one of the things I'd like to leave behind, which might be something of permanence, is a book or a series of books. So I've got this story that I need to tell in a fantasy setting that I need to get it out of my head. And I need to start working on that. Now, this is inception stage. Obviously, I'm working on a book I still want to play Warhammer 40k and 30k and still want to get engaged in the hobby, but I don't know to what extent I can maintain that at the level of output that I'm maintaining everything now and write a book. I don't know what that is. I imagine someone will have to give a bit. I imagine some of the YouTube or DZ or something, they would have to give a bit. But that's what I've got to balance against this desire to write a story. So I'm thinking in the future, next year, or in 5 years, or in 10 years, or next month, or next year, I'm thinking of starting to write this story that I have and get it out of me. And when I get there, if I make a sudden career change at the age of 50, I'll let you know. And my new career will be author of unpublished work set in a fantasy world, and because he's got a story that he wants to get out of his head, not because I think my story is the greatest story of all time, and not because it's the greatest story of all time, but because I spent a long time in my teens and in my 20s and in my early 30s inhabiting that world with lots of different characters. There's lots of different things I can tell people about what happened there. And I'm very conscious of the fact that when you tell a story, I'm not to write the story that I want to write. Not to get lost in my own words and my own narrative and my own source and my own... Not to write a story for my sake, but to write a story so that as many people as possible could enjoy the stories that I tell. To tell an enjoyable story as well. To take people on journeys and to places and introduce them to characters that I know. Just as if I could introduce you to certain rules in 40k or certain ways of playing in 40k or certain other communities, just as I can help. I want to tell the kind of stories that I want to read. I want to bring people on journeys where I'm showing them where to go. That's what I'd like to do. And then it leaves something behind. Now, whether it ever gets published, and it's also a series, it's going to be more than one book. And whether I ever get it finished or whether I just George R.R. Martin it, Winds of Winter, how long have we been waiting now? 10 years? Come on now. I don't even know what the name of the book is, but it will be by Winter's SEO. And I'm thinking of crowdfunding or kickstarting the first one, because I would have to, because then it will give me more wiggle room to reduce an amount, a percentage, a tiny percentage or a 10%. It will give me wiggle room to reduce an amount of work in 40k so I could focus more on the book. The bit that I'd like to leave out, I'd like to just film battle reports. It'd be great if I just focused on filming and creating content for battle reports and telling stories that way, because I enjoy playing the game, I enjoy meeting people, and I enjoy making battle reports and making campaigns and stuff like that. And if I could just focus on doing that and tell stories that way, and was able to bring in enough income just doing that, then I would just do that. And find enough time to write this story down. And if I can't do that, well, then I can ask, like, crowdfunding kicks up, I don't know, something like that. And maybe at the end of the project, people who crowdfunded get a book signed. And then if I can't do that, then write it anyway, but keep the YouTube going as it is, and then the book just takes longer and longer and longer to get out. So those are the ideas I'm thinking about now. So I'm thinking forward about my future, about when I'm 65, 70 with no kids. got to leave something behind, right? Doesn't matter whether you become a billionaire from it. I'm not expecting to be the new J.R.R. Tolkien or R.R.R. the other one, Rowling's, or R.R.R. Martin, because Winter's SEO doesn't have any R's in it. So Adrian Mihail Samarfridja, thank you for your donation. Funds for the Winter's book series first backer. You are, Adrian. Remind me that you are the first backer when you get a copy of my first book in maybe 2 years' time, maybe 10 years' time. But I'm going to find the time to write it. So what's happening at the moment behind the scenes is Monkey's looking through an early draft right now. And I've been thinking over the last 2 weeks, spending a lot of brain time sitting in a quiet room with the lights off, just thinking and trying to find the beginning, middle and end, trying to find major players. There's so much depth in the world that I spent so much time in, and so many places that I could take you and show you, or moments in time that we could explore together, that tying them together, that's the idea. I want to write a book. The book starts with a sheriff in a fantasy town, and the sky runs. The clouds go, the air drops dead. Everything's quiet in this fantasy town, isolated in the mountains. And then a day later, all the cows and horses and cattle in the field die, and all the birds drop from the air, dead. And this sheriff in this mountain town is a veteran from a war. He's out here to escape from all the horrors that he committed. And then all the rivers, all the big river that goes through town just fills up with fish one day, all dead fish. And have just been washed down the stream and into the dams and into the sluices into the village. So he sets up a couple of scouts, a couple of deputies with crossbows and swords and shit like that higher up in the mountain, and says, look, there's something coming out of the mountains and people are fleeing. People in the church are freaking out. And then a day later, there's a guy running down the stream, down the mountain, and these two deputies take him in to see Raya. And the man running down out of the mountain says he didn't make the weather die, or the fish die, or the animals die. He tells them that all of hell, demons, millions of demons from this world's equivalent of hell, a netherworld dimension, are chasing him. And the demons killed the weather, the demons killed the fish, the demons killed the cattle. And just as he's talking to this sergeant, and just as in the town, it gets to the town and all the people are gathering around, then everything gets suddenly cold, freezing cold. It's just the start of nighttime and things get to go from 20 degrees to just naught, to -1, -10 degrees in an instant. This guy's called Trenon, and hell is following him. And that's the start of the book. And the hell, the demons in there, they're not really demons. I'll tell you about that. And yeah, he's got to get to a gateway to hell on the world. And we know where it is, because the church in this fantasy world built a plug over the gateway to hell 792 years ago. So yeah, just got to get there, get the demons back in. But why and how and where did they come from? And that's the thing, and that's the start. Yeah. And I want to get it out, and I want to get the book done, and I want to write it so it's as entertaining as possible. And I've got some ideas about it. So once I get the first draft back from Monkey. And the first draft is over a book's worth, but it needs to be really dragged in, and I've been thinking ahead about twists and other characters, and that's what I've been thinking about for the last 2 weeks, and trying to flesh out the world that they're going through, because it's been a long time since I've role played there. So I'm trying to flesh out, okay, who is the king right now? Where is Ateyu right now? What do the church think right now? What about the Northlands right now? Trying to get those picks down in my mind, nail down the world in which, the setting in which this is set is dynamic. What space and time is this, and who are the players in that space and time is this, as well as the players in the space and time that have propelled and generated this start. And then you set your characters off in that space, and I know why it's happening, and I know who and what, and just try and get that story out. And it's an introduction to my world, something that I made up. And yeah, and I need to get it out. So, Awful Gamer, thank you for your donation. Love you so much. Are you sure you haven't secretly written this already? Sounds solid. P.S. You have to please do the audiobook yourself if you do write it. Yeah, so there's a number of ways to do this. Another way is to do the audiobook version as well and get some sort of... Yeah, so it's an idea. It's an inception stage right now. I need to do some planning, and I need to do some thinking, and I need to talk to Monkey, and I need to work on it behind your guys' back, first of all, as well. And I need to talk to some people about how do you actually publish, and what impact will this have on my YouTube. But I still want to play 40k. I'm still interested in 40k and 30k and my community and meeting people. Who wouldn't be? Who would not be? It's epic. So anyway, that's my thinking forward. That's the podcast. Thank you to the 13 new members that we've had today. Thank you to the 93 likes and the almost 20 quid worth of donos this evening. I love you all. I think consistency is the key. I think I need to be on more often. Mr. Wise thinks second's an audio book, and KR definitely would read, listen, sounds absolutely awesome. So thank you. Yeah. I'd like to do that. So thank you so much for joining. If you'd like to become a tier 3 channel member, then do so. If you'd like to give me any feedback on my idea, then share it in the comment section below in this video, because this should go up as a VOD. If you know someone who's a publisher, or if you are a publisher, get in contact with me. Check out my other... what you could do in the meantime, actually, is check out the Storytime podcasts that I've done. And yes, the Cornwall Twins. I know I've got to finish off that latest Storytime. I haven't done it. I've been a bad man. I've been thinking about the future and thinking... See, the Storytime thing and the narrative collaboration with you has got all these thoughts flowing. So you guys are catching my hobby journey right from the inception, and some of you of the idea of doing a book right from this inception, some of you from way back in time. It's wonderful that we're sharing this together, and thank you so much for being here with me. So thank you for sharing your story. Dickie, thank you. Jason, thank you. I did miss the live streams for the last few weeks. Guck, yes, consistency is the key. You got to do this consistently. Thanks for being a great stream. I'll become a member when I stop being poor. Thank you, Mr. Wise. Stop being poor. Come on now. And Sanguinary Guard, thanks for being an epic mod as ever. Until next time, people, happy wargaming. Did that work? I think that worked. Did it work?